My name is Sally Bayliss. I'm the vicar of St Paul's with St Timothy's, Daybrook in Nottingham, and my job is that of being a parish priest in an urban setting.
I'm Sonia Barron and I am a curate at Christ Church, Chilwell.
I'm Jo Honour. I'm the managing chaplain at HMP Whatton, which is a prison between Nottingham and Grantham.
I'm Canon Jackie Jones. I'm precentor of this cathedral for this diocese. I deal with the worship of the cathedral and all sorts of outside bodies coming in to want to celebrate or commemorate events and services.
My name is Karen Rooms and I'm the vicar in St Anne's in Nottingham, but I'm also the area dean for Nottingham South.
My name's Jo Tatum. I'm second year curate at St Nick's, right in the centre of Nottingham.
My name is the Reverend Leah Vasey Saunders and I'm priest in charge of Harworth in North Nottinghamshire.
Hello, my name is Anne Noble and I'm a team vicar in the Clifton Team Ministry, which is in Clifton, south of Nottingham. It's a large parish of about 26,000.
I was ordained in 2003 here at Southwell Minster.
I was ordained in 2011.
I was ordained as a deacon in 1989, but I then had to wait 4 years before I was priested in 1994 in Sheffield Cathedral.
I was ordained a deaconess in 1986. In 1987 I was ordained a deacon, and in 1994 I was priested, so quite a long travel really.
I was ordained as a deacon in 2006 and then priested a year later.
I was ordained in June 2012.
I was ordained deacon in 2003 and priest in 2004.
I was ordained priest in 2008. I'd been ordained deacon in the year 2007 before.
I was really pleased when I heard that women could first be ordained, because I'd been working with a woman called Sue Hope, who was a deacon in charge of a parish in Sheffield, but she couldn't be the vicar because we couldn't be priested. And so when we heard the news that we both were going to be able to be priested, it was really exciting.
Well, I was taken aback by the negativity actually that was still around. I thought it would just be a matter of course, and though it did happen, there was still a lot of negativity about it.
I don't remember that, but I do remember being told as a child that I couldn't be ordained and be a vicar, and was very disappointed. And I think I just became aware that women now could be priests, but I don't remember the event.
I remember the vote in 1992 really, really clearly. I remember seeing a very young not ordained woman, a woman in waiting, on the news, rejoicing and shouting and being really happy. And then in 1994 I was at sixth form, and I remember a very feminist English teacher marching up the corridors, waving her arms in the air and shouting and being really joyful. So I have those memories of how big and important a thing it was.
I think that was quite a significant moment, and it was exciting, not because I felt I was called to any kind of ordained ministry at that point. I was a fairly young mum at that time, but because it opened the potential and possibility for women who were called to be able to fulfill that ministry in their lives.
On the day that I was ordained, I remember it was a very emotional experience. I'd spent 4 days on retreat in preparation for it, and it was emotional because I knew I was giving up my whole life to God for the ministry to which He had called me. It was also very emotional because in that congregation here in the Minster were all the people who had supported me all those years through my training and prayed for me and were there supporting me on that day.
Well, it was a wonderful day here in Southwell Minster. It was very sunny and all my friends and family were here supporting, and it was really a marvellous day. I think one of the best days of my life.
I remember it being a day full of anticipation, a bit like when I was getting ready to get married or getting ready for a big party event. I remember not quite believing that it was going to happen because I wouldn't put my collar properly into my shirt. And I walked past the bishop and he said, "Put your collar on, Jo, you're going to be ordained." And so I did, and I was.
So the day I was ordained, it was definitely a sunny day, and therefore a really happy occasion. I can remember feeling hugely supported by all the people that came to be here with me. Friends that weren't churchy who came along, which was great. I remember we had to kneel in the middle of the aisle here in the Minster Church, and that was very poignant and moving. To be surrounded by the weight of history and of expectation and privilege of being able to offer myself to this. But I remember partying afterwards as well.
Well, the reaction from my immediate circle of church members was very positive, and they were very pleased and very delighted, and I wasn't aware of any negative feeling then at all.
Well, the church people were delighted because Sue had been effectively their vicar for a long time, a number of years, but she hadn't been able to do the job of a priest in that parish in terms of being able to give bread and wine and celebrate Holy Communion with the parish people. So the fact that she was going to be able to do that, and I was going to be able to too as a curate, was a very exciting day, and people in the church were thrilled.
The thing that I remember most is feeling awfully sick because I was 9 weeks pregnant, and I literally was suffering from sickness at that point. It was very difficult because I think that masked for me all of the nerves, and I was really nervous. It was a big step, a big commitment to know that I was giving the rest of my life in service to God in his church.
They were really positive, and for the church that I came from, that was quite a surprise to me because they were of a more conservative nature, and I wondered really whether they were in favour of the ordination of women at all. But not only were they, but they were the people who suggested to me that I might be being called to the priesthood. So when they came to the ordination, it was just very special. And the joy on their faces to see their part in this journey coming to fruition as well was very special.
When people in the church knew that I was going to train for ordination, they were very excited and very pleased that I had accepted the call to go forward. I was trained on a course, not on in a residential college. So I saw them regularly, and they were very supportive and very encouraging throughout the process.
I remember when the priesting came, it was a very end of a long journey. I was quite frightened in many ways because I had managed to, the way I managed to cope with that particular huge event would be to think to minister to other people in a kind of a servant capacity. And when the possibility of priesting was coming up, it was almost as if a wall had come down, and I was exposed to this completely different kind of being a priest. And that was quite a powerfully emotional experience for me. And also, when that happened, people actually saw you as an authority figure, and they didn't really like that for many of them. So that was difficult to cope with conflict and challenge, and to be told that as a woman, what was I doing being a priest?
Well, the people who are in the church that I'm in say that it's good for them to have a man and a woman. I work alongside a man, and I think it just provides the fullness of all creation. So different sensitivities, different ways of looking at the world, and we present the fullness and a richness.
It's made a huge difference to the life and work of the church, really huge. To be sat in a church with a woman drawing God's people together around the altar is an amazing experience. And even now, even 20 years on, it's something that always takes my breath away, to be in a community with a woman drawing it together. not because women do it any better, but because women add something. Women bring a half of humanity that was missing, and they bring the image of God that was missing before too.
Yeah, the difference of having women in leadership is that the culture has changed, I think, in the church. I think people relate very differently, and the way women collaborate and network, I think, has changed some of the way that we work together.
I think in some senses it's brought a sense of completion to it. I love the first story of creation in Genesis because that's all about possibility and potential, and that story reaches some kind of a climax in God creating male and female, men and women in his own image and likeness. And I think that in the ministry of women in the church, that brings something that completes the picture to the church. It's as each man or woman called into ministry brings something unique of the image of God to that ministry. And I think having women there makes that picture a fuller picture.
I am very excited about the possibility that women could be bishops in the future. I think there are some extraordinary women, many of whom have been ordained for a very long time. Fantastic experience, and they've got a great deal to offer to the role. And I'm hoping that the first woman bishop might even be in this diocese.
Really, really excited that it could actually happen in my lifetime, that there are women that I know are called who could fulfill their callings and not live out their callings as frustrated women, but could go where God calls them to be, and the church will agree to allow them to be where God calls them to be. It's just so exciting, and please God, let it happen soon.
I'm really excited that that women are going to be bishops in the not too distant future. I can't wait to find out who will be the first woman bishop. I've got some ideas, but I wouldn't put them on camera. And I will look forward to hearing the announcement. I think that it's been a long time coming, and it's about time.
It's about time. That's it.